Greetings, my fellow gamers. It is I, Wraith King, bringing you news from beyond the mirror from the other world. Today we are doing another Who's Next video. Isn't that wonderful? Today we will be discussing a variety of actually on Who's Next. But before I start, there's a few things I wanted to point out. A friend of mine mentioned something about what if there was a form beyond awaken, and then I had to think for a minute. Well, there is a form beyond awaken for equipment, right? So 9 times out of 10 there probably will be a form beyond awaken for characters. But to be honest, there is no telling exactly when they do this or if they do it at all, because that means new character models, new attacks, etc. But the reason I decided to mention this is because they could do it. It's a definite possibility. They super awaken weapons, so they probably will super awaken characters. It's an amazing idea, and it would be an excellent addition to the game if they added it. It would make sense too, because people would definitely want those characters. I know I would. And if they were going to add this amazing feature to the game, they would first have to awaken all of these amazing characters that I guarantee you a lot of fans will be wanting to see awakened forms from. But if they added this new feature, that means awakening is a weaker form, and people are going to want the super awakened characters over the awakened characters that are already here. So these characters would definitely cost a lot of awakened stones to make. My guess probably around 1,000 or maybe 800, because they would be very powerful. And they probably wouldn't release these characters until they have released the other awakened characters first. So it would definitely be a while before they actually release those characters. So expect a long wait if you're wondering. But enough on that. Let's talk about who is next. Or what is next, really. They have recently added Sun Wukong, so that means they're probably going to start awakening more special heroes. But that means maybe awaken Yan Yuanyi? But I don't really have Yan Yuanyi. Excuse me for a second. Dang it! Now that I think about it, they probably wouldn't awaken her yet because they just did release her, and she is a very rare character and not a lot of people have her, so probably wouldn't expect an awakened form from her right now. And the 4 Lords of Old are already quite strong, so you might not expect anything from them just yet. But they just did release Sun Wukong recently, so that gives everybody the idea that they might release another 4 Lord. But they haven't done that. They released this huge list of Bleach characters, which I will be making a video on later. I was planning on making a guide on what to do during these events because I made a mistake recently and I don't want anyone else to make that mistake that I made. But anyways, they just did release these characters recently, so that means they probably won't release any awakened characters right now because they just released all those characters.
But be that as it may, they've been very unpredictable with the way they've been releasing characters lately. Sun Wukong out of nowhere? That's really weird. And then releasing a huge character list from Bleach?
They've been very unpredictable with the way they've been releasing characters. I have to admit, I kind of like that. It's like the developers are giving you a Christmas present every time they release a new character. You don't know who it's going to be. But here are my theories on who might be next. Now, each of these character lists have been very empty. The character lists on the normal hero list, and they've been very weird with the way they've been releasing characters. I'll be completely honest with you, because my first thoughts on Helena is she would be a part of the White Wolves, but I guess not. It really was strange when they released her on this character list instead of the White Wolves, because she had so much respect for Evan. I was expecting her to be on this list. It really is puzzling to me. But after they released her, that told me that they might be a little unusual with the characters that they put on Evan's team. What I mean by that is they put characters from a completely different character list on Evan's team. Not only were they from a different character list, but Evan's history with them is not very clean, I should say. They never really got along. I mean, Evan fought them, literally, with swords and shields high. and they really didn't get along very well, and it was unusual to see those characters on a team. I mean, Yuri made sense, but the rest of the characters, kind of unusual. But as for the rest of the hero lists, I don't know. I mean, there are so many characters they haven't released Awaken yet. I mean, a lot of these characters, so many people use before they actually release Awaken characters, and especially these characters that I'm showing you right here, is they were very frequently used before Awaken characters were released, so it would only make sense that they did awaken them. But the question is, when? But it's not only them I'm worried about. There are so many characters that they have not released yet, awakened. And a lot of these characters are very strong, and a lot of people used them before the awakened characters were released. But on this list, there's one character in particular I'm really wanting to be awakened, and he's my favorite character, Juanaho. Now, a lot of you probably know that he's one of my favorite characters, but I'm starting to worry, will they release all of the characters awaken? Will they awaken all of the characters? Now, my first theory is, of course they will, but there's a theory inside of me that's thinking they won't awaken all characters. Maybe they'll just awaken the more popular characters. But hey, that's just a theory. It's probably not true, and I'm hoping it's not true, because I want Juanaho awakened to happen. But all that aside, will they release the awakened Rudy, for goodness sake? I mean, they had the separate servers, and when they released the separate servers, they had a special event for the Awakened Chris on the Chris server. So that gave everybody the okay that, yeah, they're going to add Awakened Rudy right after him. But nope, I haven't heard a word about Rudy being awakened since then. And the funny thing about that is, Rudy is a serious fan favorite. People max him out to level 46 plus 10 still to this very day. And people prefer him over some of the other tanks that are awakened right now. So it doesn't make much sense why he hasn't been awakened yet. But enough on my opinion. Who do you think will be awakened next? I'm really curious to know what you gals and guys out there are thinking. I make theories all the time on who will be awakened next. But I am really curious to know, who do you think will be awakened next? I'm really excited to find out what your opinion would be. Leave in the comments below, who do you think will be awakened next? Or what features do you think will be added to the game in an upcoming update? And by the way, I've been wondering when exactly they're going to release the rest of the Nightcrow. Now, 9 times out of 10, the next character they would awaken on the sheet would probably be Tio. But I'm not entirely sure about that. But when to expect these characters? Probably after they awaken another 2 characters or so. But hey, that's just a theory. But anyways, that's all the time I got. Take it easy for me, alright? Bye.